Hi, everyone. Welcome to our fireside chat with Racami's leadership team, where I have Haney, Matt, Jessica, and Bhavin all sitting down to do a little year end recap and talk about what we're excited about moving forward into 2026. And I've got a whole list of questions, so we're just going to dive right in. But I will start with you, Matt. I want to know what's one value that really guides your leadership at Racami?
Yeah. Caitlin, I would say that accountability is probably the philosophy that our entire management team at Racami follows. Because of the type of work that we do, that's the software we develop, the services that we provide to our customers. They're used in mission critical applications, core to our customers' businesses, and being accountable for the delivery of high quality products that deliver on what we promise starts with our management philosophy and how we manage the teams, what we expect of our people, the decisions that we make, the outcomes we pursue. All of this kind of filters up to what I would call accountability, at the personal level, all the way up through the management team and delivery to our customers. So that's what I would say is the common theme for our management philosophy.
Amazing. All right. Well, continuing on with that, in a similar thread, Bhavin, if you had to choose just one word, which I know can be hard, hit that synonyms button. What is one word that describes Rakami's impact to customers?
Yeah, Caitlin, I would say it's a transformation. Rackimi helps customer modernize their operations, streamline their workflows, and unlock new business opportunities.
Okay. When you say new business opportunity,
Hmm.
dig into that a little bit. Who wants to dive into that?
Yeah, I would say, Caitlin, that just to add to what Bobbin said, that there's two ways that we help customers. One is on the operational side of the business, so transforming maybe from a legacy system to a newer technology, right? Something like that. But also to help them transform in ways that would generate revenue. So if they, for example, are a traditional printer and all they did was print on paper, maybe in today's world, that's being challenged and print is going down. So they want to get into digital. And so emails, texting, web hosting, whatever it might be. So, that's another way that we can help companies transform, our customers transform is not only on the operational side, but in the revenue equation.
Right. It's almost the two for one. Why would you just want to operationalize and become more efficient? Let's grow some revenue and embark on new revenue streams while we're at it. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Now, Haney, our fearless leader, what is one piece of advice that you'd give to print and mail companies who are really looking to make an investment into software in 2026?
Yeah. So the advice I would give is continue like you've been doing. Continue to invest in software that is for your operation. Enhance your operation, but use more modern tools. Embrace AI to help you do a lot of the automation. So find software that is embedding AI into their tools, and also find more software that is cloud hosted, and then you can invest in those software as a service more than infrastructure. So I would say for 2026, make sure that you continue to invest in your operational uh, infrastructure, and then find more native software that allow you to extend your offering to your clients.
Okay. Interesting. I have a follow up question. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Mhm. You're saying, all right, find ways to invest into new software. And that's all fine and good. And it's always great to go out and buy something new. But a lot of us have a huge tech stack that already exists in place today. So, what advice would you give to companies who have a lot of existing tools, but maybe there are some gaps? Like, do they, do some spring cleaning and buy new? Do they just add another one to the stack? Like, how do you balance that?
I mean, consolidation. There's a lot of redundant technology out there, right? And there's a lot of redundancy. Every print shop that they seem to use multiple software that can be combined in one. Create a source of truth system, and then within that source of truth system, you can actually embed other technologies into it. You can integrate into it as long as you have a solid infrastructure. You can always integrate into that one platform that you've built and expand to the market with other offerings.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, there's a lot of pressure, right, Caitlin, on these companies to deal with what's going on in the market, and a lot of price pressure, a lot of change in the digital world. You know, a traditional company who relied on printing and mailing and paper-based workflows or products are feeling a lot of pressure, and AI is adding pressure, but also opportunities to sort of reduce their internal costs, get more efficient. Right? So if you're feeling price pressure, how do you deal with that? One way is to just reduce costs, right, to keep your margins. And so AI is interesting there because for customer onboarding, for quality control processes, for a lot of different things, AI could be applied. And it's not only experimental nowadays. There's actually companies using it in live production
Mhm.
to reduce costs. And so I think that, as Haney said, 2026 AI is probably going to come on strong, and people are going to figure out how to apply this in real life.
definitely. And I would even go a little bit further and to add there's all of these, regulatory pressures too. I mean, we're seeing that in the transactional space with volumes that seem to be increasing in a world where a lot of other print volumes are decreasing. And I think paying attention to the increasing importance of security and regulation, keeping everyone's personal information private, be that in what we think of as traditional transaction mail, like statements and EOBs, those sorts of things. But then also on the marketing side, we're seeing those two worlds converge, I think. Because even if you're sending, a postcard with an offer, that's got to be right. It better not end up in your neighbor's mailbox, right?
Marketers used to get away with it. They didn't have
Right.
the regulations that a transaction processor had to live up to, but that's not the case anymore. They all have to adhere to these high standards,
Hmm.
protecting the data, right?
And, I guess, all right, we're almost already on this topic, but Jess, what industry trends are you closely tracking as we move into 2026? What's on your radar?
Yeah, I mean, we've already heard it a couple times already. It's AI. It's the hot word. Everybody's talking about it, and everybody uses it in different ways. So whether you're trying to onboard a client quicker and you're trying to use AI to kind of speed up that process, whether you're using it in the development terms, coming up with scripts in order to replace kind of what the developers are having to do or speed up what they're doing. What we're trying to do is look to see how AI can help create ETL programs that will go ahead and extract the data and transform it and standardize it. And so any way that AI can be used to kind of speed up processes, we're monitoring it, and we're trying to kind of get in there with everybody and creating little proof of concepts of our own that we're looking to get some clients to start using. So yeah, AI is a buzzword, but that's what we're tracking. It's yeah, we're starting to see it in this industry, and yeah, 2026 is, I think, it's going to be really big for that as it starts to really get pushed out there more.
100%. So you mentioned something, and I almost think it's becoming a buzzword that we're using internally, and I want to dig into it. So you were talking about using AI for faster client onboarding was one example, but what are you seeing AI do to help in that process? Like, put some meat on the bones for me.
Definitely. So, I mean, when we're talking about what Racami does, we do workflows. And one of the biggest things when we're talking about workflows is being able to get the data into our system. Once you get into the system into a standardized way, you can use a lot of our reusable product. And so when we're talking about it, I mentioned ETL, being able to extract, transform, and load that data into our database. What happens is clients have a whole lot of different data types. And in order to really use that, you're sometimes having to come up with custom processes. So what we've seen, and we've actually done a proof of concept, is being able to take a data file and then use AI in order to standardize that, come up with a process that will automate it and then push that data into our database. And so we're able to see kind of something that can take a developer 2 to 3 days to do happen in a matter of minutes. So we're really trying to kind of key off of that and try to build some programs around that, because you make that process faster and you're able to get more clients using the dashboard and standardize in a shorter amount of time.
And I think there's also going to be this convergence where we see, because we've seen some of our clients, they really standardize the type of data inputs that they allow their clients to give them.
Mhm.
And imagine, all right, we standardize on the client side. And then we also merge it with this AI ETL process that we're developing. And all of a sudden, this what can take, like you were saying, days, months if you have a ton of different clients, could take, hours if, under a week. Imagine having all of your data loaded, indexed, and everything into a database in under a week. I think
Exactly.
that's the
Yeah.
goal.
I mean, the types
That's
of
the dream.
messages that the standardizing and because you want speed in communications these days, right? And you want quality. And how do you achieve those things? A lot of times it's by reducing the number of variables. So we see a lot of our customers going, "Hey, I'm a print service provider in transaction space. I'm going to offer my customers 10 different product options, and that's what they get. And in exchange for buying into one of these product types, they get speed, they get quality, they get reliability, and because they want to avoid doing anything for any customer because that complexity creates problems for the operation. So
Yeah.
standardizing really has a lot of benefits.
Right? Adds risk, opportunities for human error,
Yeah.
delays. Not a great list. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up with one final question, but I know this is going to be a big one. So we'll just start with you, Jess. Once again, what are you most excited about as our VP of product that's on our Racami product roadmap for next year? Like, what should people be excited about?
Definitely. What we're doing is we are enhancing what we have in the cloud. So for some of you, you're already using our proof dashboard in the cloud. It's something that you can very easily set up, and it's a standalone product. And what we're doing is we're adding additional applications. We're able to be able to add the doc creator where you're able to do variable documents that can now be in the cloud. We're also able to do job tracking and archive. So basically all of the best client facing features are all going to be standalone and available in our cloud so that whether you're using one feature or multiple, you'll be able to bundle that up and use a cloud model. So we're definitely very excited about it. That we've been working on that, and we want to start rolling that out in 2026.
And cloud's been around for some time, right? Like everyone's been moving to the cloud. So when we talk about, okay, we're putting these products into the cloud, like what does that mean? Are we using microservices? Like what makes this exciting?
Yeah, I can answer that. So we basically taken the Alchemy product, as you guys used and loved, and we intentionally breaking it into a smaller microservices component. So this way, you as a customer can have the flexibility to be able to opt in for a module that you want to use now for your customers. Jessica mentioned it, right? You can use Alchemy for client-facing dashboard, and then you want to use Pay, or you want to use Proof, or you want to be able to create a document and use that module as part of it, or you want to reach out to the cloud native archive. So we're taking a lot of the features of Alchemy, breaking it down to a cloud native application that you can subscribe to, so you can easily can say, hey, I want to be able to enable mail tracking module for my clients, or I want to be able to enable email tracking module for my clients, as easy as just subscribing to that module.
And so that means no setup and no install. You'll be able to sign up and really quickly within that day start using that without having to have servers set up and everything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Thank
that
you.
helps us, Caitlin, to commoditize business processes, right? So if you think about our customers, I just mentioned are trying to standardize on products for their customers. We want to standardize not necessarily on functions, but on business processes that our customers perform, right? And so putting it in the cloud gets rid of infrastructure management and those kinds of things that our customers have to deal with. But it also
Version
allows us
control
to
issues.
standardize. Yeah, it allows us to standardize across the industry, across all of our customers, and support these business processes in healthcare, financial, and so on. That so they don't have to care so much about managing the technology. They just use the tools to run their business process.
But it's also a value added components that they can upsell to the client, right? So you guys use our system in many ways to be the backbone of your operation. With a click of a button, you say, hey, you can now upsell mail tracking components of it. You can now upsell certified mail component of it, right? So these are available for you as long as you use the Alchemy platform to extend the value added to your clients. So while the print revenue is declining, and some of you guys are not declining, right? It's actually growing.
Yeah.
You can add more into the value that you to your clients.
No, I think that makes sense. Bhavin, I know you wanted to talk about product roadmap too. and I want to get to you. So, what's on your radar?
Yeah. So, like Jessica mentioned about, being cloud native, offer more cloud based solutions, which will, allow our clients to not only scale, but also like in future proof their business.
And when you talk about future proofing the business, you know, I think dig into that a little bit more because as we're talking to clients and everything, everyone has basically every other software out there on the market. We've seen it all, right? And so, what makes a software future proof versus one that doesn't? Like if I'm out there shopping, what should I be looking for in a piece of software that lets me know, oh, okay, this is future proof and it's not just a marketing buzzword that they're using?
Yeah. Yeah. So, as part of our product roadmap, we will continue to adopt new technologies, right? So, Alchemy will be the one solution that clients can rely on without worrying about the future growth, because we will be adding new functionalities, and using new technologies.
Yeah, our product roadmap doesn't stop at 2026.
Right.
um,
And we're always using the latest and greatest technology stack that has embedded security in it and using a solid infrastructure. So we're always investing in new technology.
Yeah, and we're making stuff cloud native too, right, guys?
Yeah.
So we're not just putting some old software into the cloud and on servers. We're actually taking advantage of elasticity and other capabilities that
Yeah,
the
we're
cloud native
rewriting
platform.
it in Angular. We're
Yeah.
using DynamoDB. We are using Amazon infrastructure in many cases, or AWS native infrastructure. So to be able to, pay as you go as well, right? The more you use, the more you pay, and continue to enhance the technology beyond 2026. So you don't have to have an obsolete software sitting in a shelf anywhere.
Amazing. And one thing I think we should also touch on is as we're making things easier to use for our clients and future proof, we're selling into implants and print service providers. But if I am one of those companies, they have their own set of clients. And, a lot of those clients are asking for self service, customer facing dashboards. They want to be easy, like to check on statuses, do business with your company. It's like everything. You want the Amazon experience. You don't want to have to call customer service. I don't know the last time I've called the customer service number. You better believe I am on the internet just trying to find the answer that I need or talk to a chat bot versus actually call a person. Like I would rather die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, are we also seeing that in print and how are we addressing that need?
Yeah, I can address that. So, absolutely. So, we talk about it as a client facing dashboard. It's the same thing as customer experience, right? We're enhancing your customer experience. We have a native AI, right? Everybody uses AI for exception handling. So, you don't have to wait on a customer checking on a status of an item or a status of a document or a status of an order. If there's any exceptions, we are proactively using AI to be able to send, hey, there's an exception in this, you're going to be delayed in this is happening here and there. So, number one goal for us is to have the best customer experience for the print and mail industry.
Oof.
And it's
All
it's
right.
knowledge at your fingerprints. That's what everybody wants to. They want to be able to control that. They want to be able to have easy access to that. And so we're saying all of the information that is, behind the scenes, be able to simplify that and transform it in a way that clients are able to answer their own questions without having calling. Like you said, nobody wants to talk to people anymore. So you want to be able to access that information directly, get a quick update, and go about your day. So having that knowledge right in front of you is our goal. Is to keep it simple and make it useful for people.
Fantastic. Well, I think we will wrap it up there. That's a good note to end it on. But thank you to all of you for joining me here. And I think I'm not alone in saying we're very excited for what 2026 is going to bring. All right.
Absolutely. So, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Bye, everyone.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Bye.